On the way home, the sunlight did not feel like it was warming the earth because the sky was starting to get cloudy. The small road I took crossed a vast expanse of rice fields, green stretching as far as the eye could see as if the beautiful hills were its frame. The air felt fresh, although there was a slight aroma of damp soil after the rain this morning. In the midst of the silence of the rural atmosphere, my gaze fell on a farmer who was hoeing in his rice field. His body looked sturdy even though he looked no longer young. His clothes were simple, a short t-shirt with slightly wet, muddy pants. Nearby, a plastic drinking bottle filled with water was placed on a rock, as if it were a silent witness to his hard work. He swung the hoe with a regular rhythm, as if every beat was a song of nature that was harmonious with the sound of crickets and the gurgling of water from a small ditch near the rice field. The previously hard soil slowly became loose, ready to welcome the seeds to be planted. Every now and then he would stop, wiping the sweat that was flowing down his face with his sleeve. However, no complaints came out of his mouth. Instead, a small smile appeared to adorn his face. Around him, small birds flew low, occasionally perching on the rice field embankments, looking for worms or insects that emerged from the newly hoed soil. The coconut trees that lined the edge of the rice field swayed gently in the wind, providing a little coolness in the midst of the heat that was starting to subside. I was stunned for a moment, looking at the scene. There was something profound about the determination of a farmer. In the midst of an increasingly modern world, work like hoeing might be considered simple or even outdated. However, behind every hard work there will be results that we eat. There is sweat, energy, and sincere prayers from those who work hard in the fields like this farmer. My steps stopped, and I decided to observe longer. I tried to chat with him. I realized how great their services were for our lives. Without farmers like him, maybe our dining table would never be full of blessings from nature. Then, with a sense of awe and gratitude, I continued to observe him. His face looked tired, but the determination that radiated from his eyes showed that he had not given up. That day he decided to overhaul his rice field. The rainy season this year was not friendly. The chili plants that he had been caring for months could not survive. The leaves turned yellow, the stems withered, and the fruit that should have been the harvest now rotted before they could be picked. "The rain is merciless," he answered when I asked him. With slow steps, he swung his hoe, loosening the wet and heavy soil. Every time his hoe hit the ground, he tried to remove the remains of the dead chili plants. Disappointment was clearly visible on his face, but he continued to work, holding on to a thin but still existing hope. Every now and then he took a deep breath, looking at the deserted expanse of rice fields, as if trying to imagine the beauty of his chili plants in the past, when the leaves were fresh green and the fruits hung bright red. "What can I do?" he whispered softly. "This land must be ready to be planted again. If not now, when?" He continued to stick the hoe into the ground, then lifted it slowly, forming mound after mound. Every swing of the hoe felt heavy, not only because of the hard ground but also because of the burden of hope he carried on his back. Small birds flew low around the rice fields, sometimes perching on the embankments, as if they were loyal friends who accompanied his solitude. In his chest, there was a prayer that continued to be said, hoping that the chili seeds that he would plant later would grow well, producing golden grains that would bring smiles to his family's faces. And in the midst of the silence that afternoon, he continued his work. This was a struggle that never died down. After I was there for a while, I decided to say goodbye and leave. I was afraid that my presence would disturb his work. In my heart I prayed that the farmer would always be healthy and happy. This is a glimpse of the very hard work of farmers. In my village I find many things like this because most of the people in my village are farmers. Thank you for watching my video. See you on another occasion. If you like similar videos, please watch my other videos on this channel.